Hi there, students. The jumping off point, or a jumping off point, this is the point at which something starts. It could be a journey, it could be an activity, it could be a piece of information to begin a thought process, or it could be a question that you put to a class in order to introduce a subject. All of these are jumping off points. So I asked the class what was the ratio between the diameter and the circumference of a circle. And this question was my jumping off point for explaining the number pi. So the start point, the jumping off point for a journey. So we went on a tour of Scotland, and Glasgow was our jumping off point. We then went to Edinburgh and Inverness and Aberdeen and other places, but this was our jumping off point, the starting point for something. The advertised price of the house is just a jumping off point for a negotiation, and I would be willing to listen to a counter offer. The library is a good jumping off point for you to start your research. When I left university, working as a chef was the jumping off point to my career at work. Okay, so a start point for a mission, an adventure, an investigation. The paratroopers jumped and landed in the middle of the desert, and this was to be their jumping off point for their mission. A place to start a journey. Some people say that Delhi is the best jumping off point for a trip to India, but others might disagree. So it's a start location or a start concept. This invention is the jumping off point for many other discoveries. So the transistor, a little piece of electronics, was the starting off point for computers and mobile phones and many other things. Or perhaps a discussion. Maybe I say something very strong as the starting off point for discussion, as in, I don't know, euthanasia should never be allowed, and that could be the starting off point for a discussion. So a location, an idea, an activity, it's the starting point for further exploration, for further action. Let's take the train to the underground to Trafalgar Square, and that can be our jumping off point for for our visit to the sights of London. A jumping off point. I think this could be both formal and informal. The springboard, the departure point, the beginning of the adventure. Okay, so the jumping off point, the start point, the place where you begin, the start point, especially for a journey, but it can be for all sorts of other things as well. Okay, the jumping off point, the jumping off place as well. The point or the place where an enterprise, an investigation, a discussion, a journey is launched. Many stations many of these hotels become the jumping off points for expeditions. Okay, so jumping off point, formality, I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 in formality. I think you could use it just about anywhere. Maybe no, I'm going to give it a 5, use anywhere, 5 in formality. So, jumping off point. Bye for now.